Hello, you guys there? Hopefully you're there. Yeah, you guys should be. All right, guys. This is a new year, so we're gonna, jump right at it and get right into it. This is a game, okay? It has been one, and it will always be one. At least yeah. It's always been one. Okay. The reason why it's so hard to wake my people up and to get them to understand why they should not call themselves black and why we really need to get away from that is because it's set up. A lot of the guys or women or people that keep telling us about black agenda, black this, black that, Pan Africans, pro blacks, all that different stuff. The reason that they're doing that is because they were put there. Now, is it because of their own recognition? I can't say that fully because I don't believe everybody knows. I believe most people are like the Walking Dead. Most of them are only going off of the propaganda that was given to them. So we're going to listen to some stuff. I would play some videos, but I don't want this video messed up. So we're just going to listen, and I'll tell you where everything's coming from. First things first, I need you guys to realize that the movie The Matrix was not a movie. That was a revealing. I'm not talking about part 2 and 3. That's for money. The first one is a revealing. That is what it's about. It's about showing you something that has always been for a long time, and most people do not get. So we're going to listen to when Morpheus explains what is the Matrix. And then from there, I'm going to play something else. And then I'm going to play something else. And then I want you guys to get what the point is. Also, before we get started, Neo, always remember Neo is John Connor from Terminator. Always remember that. Neo is John Connor. And then also always remember these stories are written by the same woman. I don't care who the directors is. I don't care who the people who stole the movies and made the money. I don't care. Both of these stories are written by the same woman. So there is a reason that they are told. But I need you guys to hear this. I believe most of you forgot. Most of you forgot what we were looking for, in the future. This movie came out in 1999. None of us seen this until it hit, and none of us realized what the hell we were already told. Listen.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program.
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today. Welcome to the desert of the real. We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain
is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We
Over what? Remember, we're here now. You guys are here. This shit was told to us decades ago. Now we're here. What were they celebrating?
marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI. AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
As we gave birth to AI. Now, I can see people that watch this video and be like, oh, no, this is some spooky shit. No, it's actually not. This is called foretelling. This is called prophecy. It was already given to you. And people be like, oh, no, that's biblical. No, that has nothing to do with it. Being prophetic is prophetic. That's foretelling. Always remember, in this movie, there's an oracle. Oracles are older than the Bible. So you don't need a Bible to prophesize, just like you don't need a Hebrew to prophesize. You have to be one of these. You have to be one of these people that were connected to whatever this thing is that has omnipotent information. Let's say it like that.
Singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. Throughout human history, we have been dependent on machines to survive. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony.
Who dealt with the machines first? Because, see, the pyramids weren't made by machines. We always brag about ancient times and how they didn't need any of this stuff. So we know who brought that in. But let's keep going.
The human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. Combined with a form of fusion, the machines had found all the energy they would ever need. There are fields, endless fields, where human beings are no longer born. We are grown.
There's fields, endless fields of where humans are no longer born, but grown. Now, in the movie, they show this old robot world and stuff like that. No. The AI is your phone. That's where they're growing these people. Think about all the manners and decency that has went out the window. Think about it. You can literally go on Facebook and see still frame pictures, and then there'll be a link to a porn. There's little girls twerking. There's all. Okay, so they're no longer birthing people, because when we birthed people, we had families, we had structure, we had order. That's humanity. Now you don't see any humanity because these are grown people. They're growing these people through this AI technology, which is your phone. Your smartphone is your best friend and your worst enemy. It's just like you. It's just like when you like they say, your biggest critic is yourself. Okay, so if they're studying humans, then they would know how you have a duality thing with you. They would use that. That's how they would get in.
For the longest time, I wouldn't believe it. And then I saw the fields with my own eyes.
What people walking around, not even looking up, walking down the street, walking across the street, in their car, on the subway, having dinner, on a date, stuck in that phone. Like you said, I didn't believe it till I seen it myself. So I'm putting that in that scenario so you guys can bear witness what you've already seen. You've seen it yourself. You've seen people in friendships over things that happen on the Ethernet that have nothing to do with reality at all. You have people creating characters on the Ethernet that are not even really them.
Watch them liquefy the dead so they could be fed intravenously to the living. And standing there, facing the pure, horrifying precision.
Liquefy the dead. Run that back. Hold on. Let me show y'all something.
Watch them liquefy the dead so they could be fed intravenously to the living.
What is liquid currency? Direct deposit. Your credit card. Aren't people killing for money? Didn't he say to feed the dead to the living? Aren't people not valuing life, the living plants, the growing trees, the birds, the bees? They're just valuing money. This liquid currency, because most people don't even have money. They deal with their credit card. So they feed the dead to the living.
And standing there.
Also, play on words. Dead tree makes paper. The tree is dead. Trees provide oxygen. So we kill the oxygen to put a piece of paper in your hand and then turn it into liquid currency.
Facing the pure, horrifying precision, I came to realize the obviousness of the truth. What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
Shows him a battery. And Neo's like, nah, I don't believe it. What are you talking about? You guys are a battery. Aren't you charging your phone? And I don't mean it like that, like, oh, you plugged in charger. No, I'm saying, aren't you tuning in to what's on this Ethernet? I'm not saying watching this video. I'm talking about when you're scrolling. Just countless things. Just the brain's not supposed to work like that. It's not. But that's what they do. They just keep putting stuff in your head, so you cannot stay focused, to turn you into what? A charge. For what? Whatever they're propaganding you to do. Kill the babies, fight for other nations, break up families, whatever.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop.
Now, let's listen to something else. There's going to be a little music in the background, but let's listen to something else he told him. Where are we at?
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
A prison for your mind. You were born a slave, just like everybody else, in a prison that you can't smell, taste, or touch. It's a prison of your mind. Okay. Chessboard, black and white. Black versus white. Black people, white people. Black revolutionaries will admit that they called themselves black as an opposition to white, because remember, they integrated. Okay. Let's go back to Malcolm X.
Black, destitute of light, devoid of color, enveloped in darkness, hence utterly dismal or gloomy, as the future looked black.
Pretty good with them words, ain't you?
Soiled with dirt, foul, sullen, hostile, forbidding, as a black day. Foully or outrageously wicked, as black cruelty, indicating disgrace, dishonor, or culpability. And there's others, black male, black ball, black guard.
Yeah, well, that's something, all right.
Let's look up white. Here. Read.
White, of the color of pure snow, reflecting all the rays of the spectrum, the opposite of black. Free from spot or blemish, innocent, pure. Huh. Maybe there's something without evil intent, harmless, honest, square dealing, and honorable. Wait a minute, but this was written by white folks, though, right? I mean, this is white folks' book.
This sure ain't no black man's book.
So what we reading this one for?
Because the truth is lying there. If you read behind the words, you got to take everything the white man says and use it against him.
Now, take it out of race and just deal with the words. Because before you were integrated, you knew how to read. So you knew black meant dismal. You knew that already. But then you're integrated into a system, into a program, to where these mean different things. Now it's status. But wait, it gets even deeper. We're going to listen to Aboriginal TV. Aboriginal TV. He's going to break down the 3 shades of propaganda. Now, the other day, or the last video of last year, was the George Bush Sr. video, and we talked about the OSS and the CIA. Well, 3 shades of propaganda is in a book called Psychiatrical Warfare Against Nazi Germany. Former OSS, now the CIA operative, Daniel Lenner, details the U.S. military's World War II Sky War campaign. Lenner separates psychological warfare propaganda into 3 categories. Let's listen.
The CIA operative Daniel Lerner details the U.S. military's World War II Sky War campaign. Hold on, I went in on accident. Back up a little bit. So, the first type of propaganda is white propaganda. So, white propaganda is the information is truthful and only moderately biased. The source of the information is cited. So white propaganda is the information is truthful and only moderately biased. Okay.
White propaganda is truthful, moderately biased because it's only speaking on one side. But in quotation marks, it says, or no, he's going to say it.
Gray propaganda.
Oh, no, he didn't finish it. White propaganda, the information is truthful and only moderately biased. The source of the information is cited. That's white propaganda. White propaganda is the truth. That's what it is. And I know you guys are thinking white people. No, remember, it's a spell. This is all a caste system. This has nothing to do with people. This has to do with a status. That is what we're talking about. So the status of white when it comes to propaganda is truth because the information is cited. Now let's talk about the next one.
The information is, so white propaganda is the information is truthful and only moderately biased. Okay. Gray propaganda is the information is mostly truthful and contains no information that can be disproven. However, no sources are cited.
Now you understand what people mean when they say there's a gray area. See, it never made any sense why that color was there. You never got it. Like, gray area. What does that mean, gray area? I don't even understand what that means. Why do they keep saying that? Gray area, gray area, gray area. Because gray is representing gray propaganda, which means the information is mostly truthful and contains no information that can be disproven. However, no sources are cited. That's a catch-22, huh? That's why it's gray. You're in the gray area. Now you get it. Now you get why they say that. Now let's go to the last one.
So white, goddamn it, could be moderately biased and it cited sources. Black.
That's why it's moderately biased, my brother, because it's citing the source. It's only citing one side. That's why it's moderately biased. It doesn't mean that it's biased at all. It's just saying through common sense, it's moderately biased because we're only viewing one side. But it's all the truth, and the information is being cited. Okay. The gray area is when the information is mostly truthful and contains no information that can be disproven. However, no sources are cited. So it's like somebody just throwing something in the air. It could be true, but there's no source that they're citing. That's what leaves you in the gray area. Now you have to investigate and research. Let's go to the last one.
I'm sorry, gray is mostly truthful, contains no information that can be disproven. However, no sources are cited. Now, black propaganda, ladies and gentlemen, for all those who don't know, black propaganda literally means fake news. Now, I don't know if that's like a,
I was going to let him finish, but I thought he was just going to say it. Black propaganda, literally fake news. The information is false or deceitful and is attributed to sources non-responsible for its certain creation. So that means it's completely fake. It has nothing to do with anything. Now, I want my people to think. I want you to really think now on why what you want is not being met. I want you to really think on why the situation is the way that it is. Is it because you are evil and wicked and all this stuff that black describes, which they placed you in? You have to remember, black code, black ball, black law. Like, why? Why are they specifically using this word? Because you're on the chessboard. Once again,
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
that means, because I told you, Neo is John Connor. That means the Savior is with us. The one who's going to save us is going to be with us because they're going to come from us. Like they said, he was born with the weight of the city on his shoulders. This is Christ energy. We're not talking about Jesus of Nazareth. No, we're talking about the allegorical story and how there is going to be a king child born that is going to have the same pressure and weight as the people that he is going to save, because he's not going to be from out of us. He's going to be from us, or she, or he. It doesn't matter the entity that is awakened, but that is going to be here with us. Keep that in mind. Why is it black and white? Is it, like, oh, they hate black people, but for some reason nobody else is up top with white people when it comes to allure except black. If you notice, when it comes to athletes, you don't see a bunch of Hispanic athletes people are cheering for. You don't see a bunch of Asians, you don't see a bunch of Hindus, but you do see black and white. There's a reason for that. First of all, you're the only two people that are here that integrated into the game. It's just you two. It's always been you two, and it's always just going to be you two. Secondly, the game has a design. Chessboard. That's why I put that as the thumbnail. Okay, who monarchs behind the chessboard? The Masons. All right. Who was given a lodge before the foundation of this country even started? Prince Hall. African lodge runner from Barbados. So you see the technology already in it. Okay, George Washington, Mason, white people, Freemason. No, they were given that information in the late 1400s. You know that, the fall of the Moors. So who gave it to them? The Christian Moor. That's why there's so much Knight Templar and all that different stuff in it, because people will be like, oh, no, it's not Egyptian. See, you're trying to take it with the Arabian Moors. That's why they'll argue that. They'll be like, no, there's more Christianity in it than it. Of course, because that's the other Moors. That's the Christian Moors. That's what Freemasonry is made from, Christian Moors. The old Masonry, the old white house, the old white magic, because that's what they called it in Egypt. They called it white house, white magic. Okay, that is from Arabian Moors. So both are right at the same time wrong, because only Freemasonry comes from England. So that is the Christian Moors that create that. But either way, when they create the game in the 11th century, the white piece moves first in the game of chess. So now you understand why the white status is supreme. It's not white people, because they are created in the late 1600s. They don't exist when this game comes out. And this game is made by melanated beings. So they weren't talking about skin tone, period. It's status. So when you hear Malcolm reciting in the dictionary the definitions of white, and it's like square dealing, innocent, are they talking about white skin? No, they're talking about the status of white and what it represents. This is why angels are in all white. This is what they're referring to. My people are lost trying to keep claiming death. They keep claiming black. They keep claiming death. And then they see nothing but death and destruction in their neighborhoods. Nothing is sound, organized, correct. And they don't get it. They want to keep blaming paleface. But no, they don't call them paleface. They call them white people. And it's like, no. White you can never blame, because in the matrix that you're in, the game that they put you in, white is the status of light. That is what they're talking about. That means you know yourself. You know who you are. Islam, I, self, Lord, and Master. Why would they reverse Islam from the Eastern version and then create that? Why? Because the Moors are the ones who created I, self, Lord, and Master. They're the same ones who created chess. So they knew what they were talking about. We're not talking about these Moors of the day with the little fez on and talking about law. And we're not talking about them. We're talking about sorcery, spell casting, wizardry, magic. What's going on? What you see, what's going on. Like he said, you're born into it. It's a prison that you cannot smell, taste, or touch, but it's in your mind. Okay, that's where the spells are interpreted, in your mind. So I'm bringing all this up because with this AI stuff coming out and with him saying that's the fall of humans, but we all celebrated it. We all thought it was going to be something great. Okay, this is a movie made in 1999 from a story from a woman who wrote this stuff back in the 80s. That's not good. Say it like that. It's not good that she told this. She prophesied, she oracleized 40, 50 years ago. Because think about it. They won't give her any clout. They won't give her any recognition. So she's not with them, but the dark ones. See, that's why it's a play on words. The wicked ones. They knew who she was. They could not stop her, just like they can't stop me, just like they can't stop you. They knew who she was, and they knew what her job was, because we got to stop talking about extraterrestrials and we got to start talking about ultra terrestrials. That's what we're going to get into. And I don't want to hear nothing from nobody else. You ain't never heard nobody even talk about that but me. I ain't heard nobody talk about. I've heard about people talk about aliens. I've heard about people talk about everything. Nobody's talked about ultra terrestrials, period. That'll be a discussion for a later time. But they could not stop her. It just took the people to lend an ear and wake up. Nobody did. Even when the movies came out, nobody still really got it. They just, morphed it behind sci-fi and everybody just played it off like that. But when The Matrix drops is 1999. Why would they drop it the year before the 2000s? Why would they do that? Everything is for a reason. Nothing is just happening. It's all happening for a reason. So then the movie drops, and it just so happens that Morpheus is black and Neo is white, Light, the savior, Christ. See, it's not talking about him as a person, flesh. We're not talking about that. We're talking about symbolism. What is he representing? The light, the way. He's Neo. He's the one. Because Neo, you can change the words around and the letters around, and it will be one. That's the secretness in there. That's the secretness in there. That people don't get. The name Neo really is a play on letters. It really is one. That's really his name, is one, the one, Christ, one way, the only way, the light. So they had to have it be represented, symbolism, through a pale face, because that's how you guys are interpreting it in the Matrix. You're lost in the spell. You don't get it. I had to reveal this truth. I had to. Because this is where the issue comes in. And then one more thing, and I'm out.
Let's get the obvious stuff out of the way.
You're not human, are you?
Well, it's tough to get any more obvious than that.
If I had to guess, I'd say you were programmed from the machine world. So is he. But if that's true, that could mean you were part of this system, another kind of control.
Keep going.
I suppose the most obvious question is, how can I trust you?
Bingo. Bad news is there's no way if you can really know whether I'm here to help you or not. Candy?
You already know if I'm going to take it?
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't.
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it. I thought you'd have figured that out by now.
Yeah. So what color was the candy that she gave him? Let's see how good people watch the movie. What color was the candy that she gave him? It had a red wrapper. Symbolism. Red pill. So she was a good one. She was good in that moment. You know what I'm saying? She was good in that moment because you're going further into the truth. There's no point of staying in the blue. There's no point of staying with the blue pill because that's the lie. So you have to keep going. What would it lead to? Because later in the saga, in the movies, it's like, oh, the Oracle is bad, and why? Why? Because this is a movie. This is a movie, and they can't put everything out. They can't put everything out there. They can't put out there because that's why she was represented by a pale face too. She wasn't melanated. She wasn't dark. She was white, basically. She was light. She might have been Hispanic, but she was light. You know what I'm saying? Very light. So in the end, when they say the Oracle is the bad one that was doing everything, putting the agents out there, if you want to take it that way, it could represent basically how melanated people look at paleface today. Like, oh, you're the enemy. But that's not true. They're in the Matrix also. The racist paleface on the street, unless they're an agent, they're not a part of the elite. They're just as lost as the Black Panther dude out there arguing stuff and not reaching any point to what is really going on. The reason I'm saying that right now is because we're at a critical time. You can pretty much see that the FBI was involved with the January 6th agitators. They were also involved with the bomb that was put in front of the Democratic building the night before January 6th. They're also involved with the Trump Tower thing. They're also involved with the Tesla explosion truck. They're involved with the stampede of the people in Louisiana. They're involved with everything. There's so many illegals and terrorists involved. And then why is there terrorists in connection with the Trump assassinator attempt? The third guy that was at the golf course. Why are they in relation? Why do they know each other? See, don't get it confused. When they spoke about AI, I thought about Elon Musk, and I got a little nervous. And I was like, wow, maybe we messed up and we let the wrong people in because he's so cool with Trump and we might have messed up. But then I did some research. Went all the way back to 1999. Elon's just becoming an American citizen. He's just turning X.com, whatever it was, into PayPal. He doesn't even have Tesla yet. Tesla's not even a thing yet. It doesn't even exist. Tesla and the neurology stuff comes later. That's where you start getting your AI scares. But no, this was told way before then. And then who was the ones pushing all the electric cars and pushing all this progressiveness? That's all leftist stuff. I just had to say that, not to try to clear his name, but just to clear your mind of he was over there. And if he did stay over there and Kamala did win, then yes, you could roll with that. But no, he didn't. Just like a breach in the game with Neo. It could have went wrong. But remember, they had already put the machine in his stomach. Morpheus is the one who gets that out. Morpheus is the one who lets him know, who explains and tells him the real. Okay. You guys know what side I'm on. And you know what side I'm thinking for. So, that I just wanted to let you know that. Like, you guys are fine. If you're on this side, you're good. This is one of those, portals to a safe house. You're good over here. But I had to let that be known. White propaganda, gray propaganda, and black propaganda. And it was all illustrated by an agent that was a part of the OSS. And we've already expressed that situation. We know that was real. We know that really happened because we already did last year's video. So, if he's snitching on them, he's telling us what they were doing. And they labeled truth white propaganda. Why? Because they're not referring to skin. They're talking about status. White is light. It's information. That's what it means. Christ is light. Light is information. Thought slowed down to create light. Light slowed down to create sound, and sound forms geometrical shapes. Christ is light. Christ is information. That's why it's the way. So white propaganda would be the truth. Okay, Malcolm X, library, dictionary, white, square dealing, innocent. You knew this before you morphed yourself into black, into Afro, into all this other stuff. And then people are like, oh, well, Negro means, black and Spanish. You're not speaking Spanish. You're speaking English. You're in a caste system. You're in a spell caste system. You cannot try to translate anything because information gets lost in translation. Everybody knows that. So it's better to be Negro because at least Negro is El Negro. It's going to take you somewhere else. It's going to keep you where you're at. Always remember, you're in the matrix. They want you to be in Africa. They want you to be, everything's from the East. Everything's in this, Redux book that came out in 1611. That's what they want you to be. But in truth, it's status. And you should know this because they keep telling you over and over and over again. And that's really what the movie The Matrix was about. Why do you think Neo was learning the information from Morpheus? Because from dark came light. You know what I'm saying? Let there be light. Everything is void. There's nothing there. All right. But Morpheus doesn't represent that in the sense of color on status. No, he represents the unknown to Neo. Neo is light, Neo's information, but he has no information when he meets Neo. So Neo is going to, when Neo has no information when he meets Morpheus. So he's going to have to learn from him. So Morpheus is the unknown. And then also, here's another thing. Why didn't they get a dark black man to play Morpheus? Why did they get a brown-skinned man? Why did they get a brown brother to play him? See, I told you guys, I don't believe the world starts out with dark-skinned people or white-skinned people. I think it started out with brown. I do. Because through these duality of colors, people are going to exist. They're going to be. So it would have to be the one that could do both, the one that could turn dark and turn light. It couldn't be. Black people don't turn light in the wintertime, but brown people do. Brown people turn lighter in the wintertime and turn darker in the heat. Black people stay black. White people burn. So who would be the God in the middle watching both? Splitting up the duality, showing the formation. And when I speak of God, I'm just talking about higher thought. The Most High. Who would it be? That's why Morpheus is, I'm saying he's a black man, but not really. He's really brown. You can see that. But he's representing black because it's unknown to Neo. That's why he's in all black. I just had to clarify that so you guys understand. I'm not trying to mix your head up. I'm trying to tell you it's a spell. So, of course, you're going to be a little confused. They're good. I didn't say these guys were not good spellcasters. I didn't say we weren't up against some tough motherfuckers. I didn't say that. But who wants a weak adversary? Who'd want a weak enemy? So I condone them for actually having thought, and knowing how to work this game. I give them that. I'm not mad at that at all. Cheers and bravo to them. But some of us are here to wake the rest up because it's through the numbers that we win. Remember, they're a small group, but they have all these different outlets, the media, Hollywood, which gathers in bigger numbers. You'll have people kill you over Taylor Swift, over Jay-Z, all that stuff. They don't even know these people. Never even shook their hand. See? Spellcasting is pretty deep, isn't it? Pretty dangerous, pretty scary. So, my friends, I leave you with this. Peace and love. Thanks for joining. I need you to like, share, and subscribe, or at least open up the dialogue with other people about what you heard on this video. And I will end it with a beat maker by the name of 3AM's interpretation of what Morpheus was saying, because he put the music in the background. Peace and love. Stay within the light. Stop going into the darkness because it's just destroying you. And you can use these melanated Indian, Negro, color, whatever you want to call them, as an example, because ever since they have been black, they have lost. They have lost their way, their morality, their whole thought process has been perverted and demonized, so much so that they went from what's going on, hugging and loving, let's stay together, let's work it out, all these good songs that they made, good energy, trying to stay united, to bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks, fuck these niggas, let's get money, I shoot this person in the face, I piss on your tombstone. Wake up.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste.